We're here with Lieutenant General Michael Flynn, former director of the Defense Intelligence Agency. Thanks for taking some time to speak with me here at the Republican Convention.
Thanks, Nick. Appreciate you having me.
Now, you were talking about a global strategy that the U.S. has to have against terrorism, ISIS in particular. This was before the France attack that just happened.
Yep.
And you said that before this Germany attack in Germany.
I said a week ago that there was going to be an attack in Germany because we heard it through their network. Now, was it this attack of this kid, this kid that did this attempted axe murder yesterday or last 24 hours? I don't know, but the lights are beyond just blinking red. The red light is on, and it's radical Islam, at its worst. And this is why I really believe that it's discrediting this ideology, but it's also the leadership of the Muslim world and the leadership in Iran. If they don't agree with what we see on the world stage, so if they think that this is wrong, they think that this behavior is sickening and barbaric like the rest of the normal international world, then they need to speak up. And that means the president of Egypt, which he already has, actually, and he's been very strong about that. And I think that we need to really, make sure that he's part of a leadership team. What I call for is a sort of a new 21st century alliance to defeat this problem. The King of Saudi Arabia. I mean, King Mohammed bin Salman, the King of Jordan, the Emiratis, Kuwait, right? These nations, because I'm going to get to Iran here in a second. These nations, the leaders. So where are they? I mean, I try to flip through Sky News Arabia and some of these other things. Our president steps out and makes a comment. I don't agree with what he says about what we're doing and how he lacks clarity. But at least our president will get up there and have to say something. Where are those guys? Why aren't they saying, you know what, this is a sick part of our system. We recognize it. We are doing all we can to stop it. Okay? That's what I want those leaders to do. So I think why we need a change in this country is because we need bold, fresh leadership in Donald Trump to have this type of a conversation to say, hey, why aren't you saying something? I'd pick up a phone and I'd say, hey, you know what would be really good? If you got on international news tonight, and I would have a big news conference and say the following things. You want me to help you write your talking points? I'll help you. But that's what we need. Now, on Iran, rhetoric question for you, Nick. Do you think we're going to get Rouhani or Khamenei to say what I just said? Absolutely not. For 40 years, they were the #1 state sponsor of terrorism. They're still sponsoring terrorism.
That's what Brennan said. They're still the chief sponsor. Yeah,
that's right. And Brennan's our director of the CIA, John Brennan. That's right. So we got a problem here. We got a problem here because the international community, the international community that accepts the sort of this, what I would just kind of call normal behavior, international law, is struggling because we're playing defensive ball right now. Okay, we're playing very defensive ball. Where offensive ball starts is when the Arab world, the Muslim world, across from Morocco to Indonesia, the leaders, not the foreign ministers, the chiefs of defense, some think tank, but the leaders who are running those countries, the kings, the prime ministers, and the presidents, stand up and be counted and stop this behavior. Stop this behavior. That means fix your education system, fix your economic system, get your economic system off of the dole, of the government dole, create jobs, create wealth.
Now, do you think legislatively, because Congress has to be the one to declare war, do you think legislatively they should be formally declaring war against ISIS right now?
Yeah, I think, I don't know. I mean, I'm not usually wishy-washy on that. We are at war. I would say, and the enemy has declared war on us. I would say that because the declaration of war comes with a lot of things. So I think we declare war, and we make sure that we understand what winning means, okay? We understand what winning means. And this is where we have not done a good job. So we have gone off to participate in these conflicts, and we in our conditions for success, that's all they are. They're not winning. Okay, so what does winning mean? It means I'm going to go deploy somewhere, and I'm going to stay there until the war is over. Had we gone into, in Iraq, had we gone to Iraq in that mindset, or even Afghanistan, with the mindset of, hey, Nick, you're going to war, and you're not coming home until we win. Okay? Well, if you're a commander, you're a senior commander, and I give you that order, believe me, you're going to fight that war a heck of a lot different than how we have been fighting it. And how we've been fighting it is we go in there, we build a nice big base. I got to bring Burger King in. I got to get Domino's Pizza. I get a 3-string quartet to play at my dining facility that's serving 35 flavors of ice cream. I mean, is that war? No. So when we talk about war, we have to talk about what does winning mean? How do we define winning? And we don't do that well.
You've talked about immigration and how it relates to national security.
Yeah.
An issue that we still see present today is when you look at 9/11, the hijackers, most of them came in legally. So do you think the U.S. should be reducing or cutting back on the visas?
Have you read these 28 pages that they finally released?
I've read a good amount of it. Okay. I have not read all of it.
You should read them. I mean, I think that, there's we have got to stop kidding ourselves about what it is, the threat that we are facing from this aspect, from this particular threat, because there's a bunch of others. I mean, everybody's described the world to be the most complex, that we've seen in a long time. And our world in the United States of America was complex during our Civil War, so complexity is relevant to, the existence at the time and the resources and the political system and what's going on. But I think right now, for the last 50 years, this is probably the most complex time. And so I think that what we have to face is that we have inside of our bloodstream a radicalized segment, small in terms of the scale of our own country, but big enough to really instill fear, because 1% or one person who is a totally true believer can do a lot more than 99 people who are just pacifists and sitting on the sidelines. So we have in our bloodstream right now in this country a problem. We definitely have a problem. The FBI director's already talked about it. He talked about how many cases are in play. I think the number last time I heard was like 1,000. They're in all 50 states. So we have a problem, and we have to come to grips with that. So when we talk about declaring war, there's also aspects that we have to understand, because there are a lot of Muslims in our country that do not like this particular radicalized ideology. And so, but I'm going to tell you, I know a lot of these people. They're afraid. Some aren't. Some are very brave. Some are very intellectually brave. But the majority just kind of, I don't want to be bothered because I'm afraid of my life. I'm afraid for my life. So, anyway.
Now, you were a possible vice presidential pick for Trump. Mm-hmm. Would you serve in his cabinet, possibly as defense secretary? I
have said that I miss serving the country. I love serving the country. I loved it. Loved being in the military. And we'll just let Donald Trump figure out what he wants to do once he wins, once he becomes the president of the United States, which he will. He will become the president of the United States.